Hello and welcome to the West Coast Today podcast with me, Sandy Neal.
Me, Matt Young.
Me, Owen Wild.
And me, Kathy Griffiths.
In this podcast, we let you know about some of our stories making the headlines this week online at www.westcoasttoday.co.uk and in the printed edition of this week's Oban Times and Lochaber Times. We love hearing your stories, so why not drop us an email at editor@obantimes.co.uk or editor@lochabertimes.co.uk, or you can give us a call on 01631 568 000. First up today is Matt. Matt, what's news on Scotland's west coast this week?
Thanks, Sandy. We'll start up in Lochaber with an update on Iona Grant's ongoing care situation. The 30-year-old has rejected a care package from NHS Highlands which would have seen her confined to her bed for around 14 hours a day. Iona has been living in a care home in Nairn for almost 6 months following the collapse of her care package back in November. She says she is determined to hold out until the right level of care is made available to allow her to return home. We wish her all the best and really hope she's able to get the support she needs soon. Moving on to Oban, students from Oban High School have taken part in a youth debating competition organised by the European Youth Parliament in Glasgow last month. Pupils prepared their own debates and counter-arguments competing against schools from across Scotland's west coast in a test of reasoning, teamwork and public speaking. And finally, an Oban-based BAFTA-winning composer is set to premiere a new soundtrack worldwide on Amazon later this week. James Gray has created the score for Project Gravatar, the Bob Lazar story, blending synth and electronic music to bring the documentary to life. If you're interested in stories about Bob Lazar, Area 51, and want to hear a locally produced soundtrack, it will be available from April the 3rd. Back to you, Sandy.
Thank you very much, Matt. Owen, what's news from the islands?
Well, Calmac has had one of their roughest ever weeks. At one point, 10 vessels were unavailable, 5 in maintenance and 5 breakdowns. That situation has improved slightly as the MV Isle of Isla's power system issues were addressed, and she completed her first ever sailing yesterday. But the situation is still critical. Calmac's CEO called it unprecedented and the most pressing we faced. The cost of the new breakwater project on Iona has shot up by a total of £3 million due to delays, with the council exercising emergency powers to secure additional funding to keep it going. And finally, last week we broke the news that the Mull Rally's brand owners were pulling out of this year's event, due to a breakdown in the relationship between them and Mull Car Club. Event sponsors Beaton's Building Supplies said that they were going to follow suit if the two entities could not work together. Now I've spoken to business owners worried that the event won't proceed without that financial support. If it doesn't happen, Mull stands to lose millions of pounds.
Thank you very much, Owen. And Kathy, what's news from Oban?
Thanks, Sandy. A rider's rest bench is going up at iconic McCaig's Tower, and that's going to remember loved ones who lost their lives on the road. Ayrshire-based motorbike club Kings of the Jungle are behind this poignant plan. But Oban, although it's a little bit far from home, is very close to their hearts as it's a popular destination for them and other bikers. Argyll and Bute Council now has the application for the bench, which will go up on the Viewpoint, and a website featuring a remembrance page for people to leave tributes to family and friends who've died on the roads will be ready in time for the bench's official launch later this year. There's also going to be an opportunity for people to help raise funds for charities in our town by buying remembrance plaques to go on it. In other news, volunteers are being given the chance to become stewards of a seagrass meadow growing off Ganavan. The Oban community's enthusiasm to get hands-on with this new seagrass restoration project close to their town has already impressed marine habitat charity Sea Wilding, who wants to upscale the work and success they've already been gathering at Loch Craignish near Ardfern. If you're interested in finding out more about the benefits of seagrass, apparently you can use it to stop flooding and to roof your homes. To find out how you can get involved, check out their Facebook page by looking up Sea Wilding. And big shout out over to Lochaber to the wonderful folks of Ballachulish who have campaigned and lobbied and managed to get bathing water status for the sea around their area. So they are absolutely chuffed with that. And that's the first time that Scottish ministers have used their discretion to award this status. So, big shout out to them. Go and test the waters. Back to you, Sandy.
Thank you, Kathy. I'm afraid the weather's still too cold for me to feel comfortable going into the water at the moment.
Wimp. One word for it, Sandy.
Yeah,
Wimp.
I don't deny it. I don't deny it. There are people far braver than I who venture into the water. But anyway, what news have I been looking into? Well, a petition urging Argyll and Bute Council to stop installing traffic lights at the famous bridge over the Atlantic has now topped over 1,000 signatures. New figures show council tax in Argyll and Bute has risen by more than 50% in the past 10 years, while its increase this year was the third highest in Scotland. The council's harbours are losing money, and people are demanding to know why. And finally for me, 2 traditional Ukrainian dolls, sent in thanks by a hospital in the war-torn country, have gone on display in Oban. The Matanka dolls, an ancient family talisman bringing protection to a home, were crafted by children and parents from Zhytomyr Oblast near Kiev. The dolls are currently exhibited in Oban's library, where it is hoped staff and readers will be covered by their protection, if not the whole town. I think that will do for us this week. You can catch up on all this week's news and sport on the Lochaber Times and Oban Times website at www.westcoasttoday.co.uk and all our other West Coast titles. You can also catch us on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, or wherever else you get your podcast from. Many thanks for listening, and it's bye from me, Sandy Neal.
Bye from me, Matt Young.
Bye from me, Owen Wild.
And bye from me, Kathy Griffiths.
Bye.
Hey, hey.